So, I missed the intro video. This is going to be the intro for the video. We went to first Cars and Coffee I have been to on my first Sunday. I haven't had a weekend off in like 7 years. So we went to Cars and Coffee up there at basically the chemical guys on Bell Road, East Bell Road. So this is going to be the video for that. We even live streamed on Instagram. Being the other guy, we call him 13GB on Instagram. He drives a base model Lancer, not Evo, base model Lancer. Kind of cool little bit. It's basically stock, but it's got some aesthetic mods. So like honestly, I can't blame him. Most cars, I mean, how much horsepower you're really going to use on the street? So just do the aesthetic mods, lower it down, put the wheels and tires on. It's pretty good. Well, we saw some pretty cool cars. Some of them were, a lot of them were regular traffic. There was a couple of standout ones, like obviously R32 GTRs are kind of stand out. They had a little bit of a build done to it. There was a guy who put a turbo on like an old Corolla and a old like 1940 Dodge pickup truck. 1940s, 1950s Dodge pickup truck that was immaculate. And me, I bought the car I could bring, the Volvo GT. Was not ready, which I'm kind of disappointed. It's not ready, but the Volvo is the trooper. It gets me wherever I need to go. And it's like I brought the car I could, not the car I wanted. So unfortunately, like the regular traffic I complained about, I was driving regular traffic that day. So you'll see it in the video, but on with that video. We're going to share that Cars and Coffee, and I'm hoping that finally get this freaking yellow car back running again, and get no leaks, get it back going again, and we'll see you, and I'll be able to drive this car. Yeah, that's right. This car. Yeah, Mr. I have to keep trash bag and rocks on the hood to keep water from ingressing into the hood. So, what's up, YouTube? Trying to get the transmission back in. I got it in. I'm just trying to reassemble it at this point. Pulled the transmission out to deal with the rear main seal that's been leaking for a while. At least I know that it's in as good a way as I could. I took the old one, put it on a tool, and tapped it in there until I got it all in about 40 thousandths below the lip. And now I'm trying to put it back in. Me and a buddy put the transmission back in. Now I'm just getting them out, getting the bolts tightened up, get the CV joints and shit. I'm working on, at the moment, getting a Haltech ECU. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but they're expensive, so bear with me. It might take up to 3 months before I get it in. It's because I'm not just getting the ECU. Not just getting the ECU. It's the ECU and harness, a PDM. I want to do a PDM. I don't know why I want to do a PDM. I don't have to, but I want to. I want to do the PDM and the LC7 dash. And a aluminum dash to put everything on, because I'm going to get rid of this old dash because it's all cracked and busted, and I want to put a dash that will not crack and bust. So aluminum dash it is. I'll have everything cut out, my switches and stuff cut out, then I'll paint it, and then I'll flock it. So to kill any kind of reflection. It'll look funky, but I'll try to make it look nice the best I can. If I don't personally accept it, I might even have it wrapped in like Alcantara, something like that, to make it look nice. And I'll have me a panel for my switches and stuff that go where the normally your radio and your dash and AC controls will go. All that shit's going away, and I'm replacing with a new panel for my dash and switches and stuff like that. That's going to go. I might even go as far as like rewiring the whole chest, just because I think I can. So I'm designing up my wiring diagrams and stuff like that now. I'm going to go ahead and get me a 12-way fuse board, and has like a what I call a power distribution module, not just a block. It's actually has where you can put your several grounds and your one battery power to it, and then run the wires to a relays, and then from relays to another power distribution block, and from that power distribution block will go to switches, and then I'll run the car like that and try to clean up, minimize the wiring harness as much as I can, and use only what I need, because I don't even like this car doesn't even have horns in it. I took all the horns out, and I don't even have a steering wheel that can even accept it. So basically all I need are hazard lights, turn signals, and headlights, and brake lights. 4 things. So I'll only put 4 relays on. Maybe I'll have 4 hazards, turn signals, and headlights, and brake lights. Brake light switch is already installed, so I just got to basically wire that up. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. Wiring a whole new ECU in 36. It's only gonna be in Haltech Elite 750, so it's the 36-pin single. I know a lot of people are like, why don't you get the 2500? Because I honestly don't need the 2500. 2500 is probably way overkill for what I'm doing. I know a lot of people say you're nuts. I'm like, honestly, the Haltech Elite 750 is for a basic 6-cylinder. Guess what this is? It's a basic 6-cylinder. It doesn't even have a turbo on it. It doesn't even have VVTi. It doesn't have drive-by wire, and I don't want to put drive-by wire on it. I have no plans on doing drive-by wire. So, a basic 6-cylinder it is. And even I talked to me and some other DSM tuners and told them what my build is. And I'm like, look, I can do either one. 2500 is going to take me longer. But I'm pretty sure I would much rather have the 750. And he's like, to me, it looks like the 2500 with like 12 different fucking injector drivers, and 12 different ignition drivers and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, it looks like overkill for me. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, man, that's overkill. He's like, I show him the list with 750 and show him the list 2500. He goes, yeah, 750 is where you will. You're basically just wasting your money on the 2500. So, but the bad thing with the 750 is nobody makes a jumper harness for one. Nobody. So guess what's got to happen? Full rewire of the engine bay. Which honestly, I'm like, hey, you know what? Blessing in disguise. Can pare down on the much unneeded parts of the harness and use only what you actually need. Hey, I'm fine with that. And be kind of like tucking a harness for a Honda. I'm okay with that. It'll look cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it right. Auto sport connector on the firewall, not just the grommet, but the actual like cannon plug, circular cannon plug on the harness, on the firewall. It'll go basically ECU, PDM, which is basically a digital relay box. Runs off CAN network for Haltech. And then from PDM to the firewall, reads into a plug, a circular plug, like an Autosport cannon plug. And then from there, pin it into the other side, and then you have resting harness. And the PDM will cut down on some of the wiring. Like seriously, there's some wires you can actually just completely take out of the harness because you're using PDM. PDM is powering your ECU. And just getting its power directly from the battery. So you'll have to go through and program it with your CAN network through your ECU. That's fine. Tell it which ones go where, what it is, what kind of sensors it is, and all that shit. And that's fine. What kind of voltage you can see for like your TPS and shit like that. I'll figure that all out. That'll be interesting. And then once I get the engine harness set up, I might even just go ahead and do a full chassis harness too. Doing the best I can, researching and learning how. It's just everything I need to set one up. And we'll do that. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Kind of looking forward to ripping out the harness and redoing the whole entire harness. And then just have this nice and clean and neat as I possibly can. Just having just the amount of the relays I need. Honestly, with the PDM, considering I'm only running the Whelp 255 fuel pump, and it says you can run it to like 400 or 500 C, like a 400 Whelp or 500 Whelp, the PDM should be able to handle about 255. So, and I'll probably never need more than 255. And so that's what we're gonna do. Well, for now, I am putting all the bolts back in and trying to get the mount back on for the transmission. Go ahead and set you up on the tripod, and we'll do some recording. I don't have a lot of time. It's getting dark. But I will do what I can to the tripod. So what we're going to be doing is torquing these down to 14. Got this thing set at 35 foot-pounds. Yeah, it's 35 footers. Sorry about the lack of uploads, but I really haven't had much of a choice. Because this damn thing has been a pain in the ass. This TPS issue is kicking my ass, to be honest with you, man. You see all this oil in this transmission? That's from that freaking rear main. Alright, we're good there, we're good there. Alright, I'm gonna get a 17, I'll be right back. I got a bolt right here I gotta get. That's a 17, it's a bigger bolt. Put this on here. There you go. Alright, there we go. Well, that should be the last of the ones down here. Let me clean this up a little bit. Alright, try to clean up a little bit. I'm not seeing how good I'll get it. Purple Power is probably some of the best degreaser I've ever seen, man. This shit is good. Massive butt kiss. Alright. Let's get to some of the top bolts. Let's see how many of these I can get a hold of. Oh, there's. Alright, we're going to see if we can go ahead and get the transmission mount back in. Just going to have to pull it out the trunk, and then we get the 3 bolts for it. Stab it back in, or 4 bolts. Stab it back in, see what we got. Alright, we got the tranny mount in here. We'll start these 3 bolts right here, and then we'll put the pinch bolt in, and then we'll tighten them all down. This Let's speed this process up a little bit. So I'm still working on the car. I got the transmission mostly in. I still got to put the axle nuts and the brake calipers and stuff like that. I thought one guy was actually going to bring me a set of 2G. He did, but he's probably referring to the second generation car, because they're not the actual 2G brakes. The difference between the first G and the 2G brakes are the 2G brakes are significantly bigger than the 1G brakes. He had the taller calipers and stuff like that, and I'm thinking he was thinking 2G referred to the car, but actually when you're talking about the brakes, there's a revision for the brakes for the VR4. You have the small ones for first, second gen, then you have the third and fourth gen, which have the 2G brakes. Excuse me, kind of dirty in the middle of putting the car back together. So 2G brakes refers to 97 through 99 VR4 brakes. So, yeah, honest mistake. At least he brought them, so I'm not going to complain too much about it, but I just think he just kind of misunderstood what I was thinking of. Either way, not as fun. I might actually go and powder coat these set later on and put them on, because they are Mitsubishi instead of the stealth calipers. They do kind of look better, so I'll probably powder coat those at one point in time or another. Or, who knows. Either way, they're a good set of brakes anyway. So I gotta finish this up, finish the install, and then see what it does. Go ahead and show what I got going on. See, kind of a lack of parts in here now. I gotta put that one on, and I'm basically cross-membering the battery tray, and that's it. It goes right here. That's the 1G brakes. He brought me a set of exactly the same things by accident, so I'm not going to blame him. He was getting a free, so I ain't going to complain. But I think I will refresh these. Got everything hooked up. Got the CV joint back in. Got your steering right, basically you tab right in, hooked up. I gotta put all this shit together. It's getting a little warm out here, which is nice. It's actually kind of pleasant at the moment. But still, it's not gonna solve the problem. With the TPS issue, hopefully we'll solve the problem with the rear main. So, I got an update for you. After I got the transmission back in the GT, it's still leaking for the rear main, so I have to pull out the transmission again. Pretty sure we're going to have to modify the rear main seal to keep it from leaking. So, with that being said, because I also have some good news, I fixed the acceleration issue on the car. It's good to go. It's drivable again, yay! It's fucking quick as shit too. Way more power than they had before. And I would expect to lose some torque in the bottom, but honestly, I didn't feel any of it. Still needs to be tuned, but I don't want to take it there with pissing oil like this. And it's bad. Let's just be real, it's bad. What's happening is it's got too much oil pressure. So I'm going to have to pull it back out, modify the rear main, maybe even have to do the bypass valve in the oil pump. I'm hoping not. Even the guy I'm talking to, he's like, don't do that unless it's absolutely necessary. You want to keep the oil pressure. I'm like, okay. For one, as the engine wears in, you might actually not have enough. So we're going to try to avoid that for the time being. But the other thing is too, because of this, I don't need the Haltech ECU right now. I'm going to switch gears. Since I already have to pull the transmission back out again, I'm going to go for a quaife LSD. I got pretty much the money to go ahead and get that done. And I'll give you guys an update as soon as I get it in. I kind of want an LSD anyway for this transmission to kind of beef it up a little bit and try to get both wheels spun, because so far it's a completely stock transmission. And probably doesn't need that much of a beefy transmission in it, but I really do want to put an LSD in it and have the transmission checked over. So that being said, that's going to be the end of the video. I'm going to go ahead and post this. Sorry that I couldn't get any more footage of it because it was leaking so bad and I didn't really want to. I said I might do some more footage of it, but it's leaking pretty bad. So for the moment, this is what you get until I get the transmission pulled back out with the LSD and try to do some more footage of that. So, you know, And let me show you. You can actually see the evidence of how bad this car is leaking on the road. You see the dark spots right here? That's from just the car backing out. So yeah, so it's kind of fucked. I gotta replace it. I was hoping it'd be, maybe, I don't get it. I used a tool on it and did all that good stuff and made sure it wasn't nicked, pulled it out, put it back in like you're supposed to with the tool. Even got the tool for this and it still leaked. What do you do? The only thing I can think of is, I was talking to one of my buddies at work. He said, you're probably running too much oil pressure. He asked me, he goes, how much oil pressure? And he goes, well, like it pretty much maxed out the gauge. He goes, did you have a freshly turned crank? I'm like, yes. Did you use the oversized bearing? Yes. You probably running too much oil pressure. So I got to pull it out again. Sucks, but hey, we're gonna try to get some motivation behind it. If we're gonna pull it out for a second time, we're gonna make it worth it. Pull it out, have one of my buddies at work install the LSD, because I know jack all fucking shit about transmissions. Maybe even show them like, hey, if I need to do this again, show me some things about it, but I don't really know much about transmission at all, just honest. And get this new LSD in, and we're gonna have some fun with it. Put that transmission back in, and hopefully after modifying the rear main seal to try to keep it more pressure on there and try to seal up around the edge. No more leaks, and we'll be able to hot rod this thing all over the place, because it'll an A build. It's not really, this engine is basically built like a tank at this point. So once the rear main leak, that leak is done, that's pretty much the last thing, and then we can comfortably drive the car without worrying about it too much. So I'll see you guys later. Alright, boys and girls, let's fucking get this on. Gotta take the CV joints back out because I'm replacing that rear main again. I try to figure out what the heck's going on with that. I gotta modify it somehow. So, taking out the CV joint. I don't think you can see very much, sorry. But yeah, I gotta take this CV joint out. This car's almost ready to drop. Transmission. I got a couple things to take out. Yep. Unfortunately, my fix for the rear main didn't work, so I gotta do this again. This time we're gonna try to do some modifications on that rear main. Try to shorten up the spring on the back side so it'll hold more pressure on it. Do what I can. There's not much I can do about it though. I would much rather not take apart that oil pump. Let's see if I can get you in a better position. Taking out this freaking CV joint. Hell. Yep. Trying to get this shit done. Hi. Takes a long time, but it's pretty easy work right here. It's tedious, but other than that, it's cool. Because I can only get, that's why little wrenchy ratchets are great. You get quite a lot of turns out of them, honestly. It's a lot easier into getting the tighter spots in these ratchets than a normal socket ratchet. It's one bolt. disconnect that again. Woo! That scared me for a minute. The belt was loose as shit. It's just trying to get a better spot on it. Alrighty. Alright. Getting there. This CV joint should just come right out as soon as I get this bowl out. Of course, real things rarely ever go as quickly as you would like for them to, or as easy. But hopefully they do like it did last time, which just pop right out. The hard one for me has always been the passenger side, which is not really that hard either, to be honest. Alrighty, got the bolts basically out. This thing comes out with the fingers right now. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm taking the bracket off the back side of the engine. I know you can't really see that well, but that's what I'm doing. Let's see if it'll just pop right out. There you go. Oh, bumped you. So, CV joint's out. Just gotta move the bracket, get it around the switch. Little pressure switch that is. Alright, let me get up a little bit of the car. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get this half shaft out of here. It's loose, it's just gonna pull it. Alright, that's out. Let's see what we can get done here. Of course, he'll be the one side that didn't bring with me. So what's up, guys? I got some new parts to come in for the GT over the weekend, and since I got to pull the transmission back out anyway, I decided to go ahead and get it. The last part for the build. Like I really wasn't planning on buying this part right now, but because the situation changes, I got to pull the transmission back out because after changing the rear main, it was still leaking. So we're doing this. So what I got, I'll let you see. I'm gonna take it out of here and do the unboxing video, huh? So we got the new parts here, and as you can see, quaife differential QD87B for a Eclipse 2-wheel drive. Guess what? 3000 GTs and Eclipse share the same transmission, FGM 533. So we went ahead and got one of these. Y'all gonna know this shit was pricey. Here it is. I was actually surprised at how small these things were. Right here. Should be the 27 spline for the second gen transmission, one with the brown seals, which I have that at. I wasn't actually intending on buying that for a long time, but it didn't work out that way. So I got it now, and I can't wait to get this thing back in there. It's gonna be fucking sweet. The other parts are, we got these from TMZ Performance. Yeah, you know, TMZ Performance, if you've ever looked at the thing, their website, they have the store burned down thing, but apparently they're still selling stuff. They got the discontinued speedo gear that gets pressed on to the snout of the LSD. And the two bearings that go with it. So we have all the necessary parts to get in there. So transmission's ready to drop. So there's nothing holding me back from getting this in. So, you know, I'm gonna put this away because I don't want this sitting out here. Well, that's what I got, man. This is the last part for the build. I don't plan on buying anything else because it's not really. It's maybe some body parts later on, but as of right now, as far as anything mechanical, this is it. There's nothing else. This is it. So that being said, we move you over. You can see we got the transmission ready to go. It's all ready to drop. Got the cross member out. It's unbolted. So CV joints are out. It's ready to drop. So that's it. Just got to drop it out on Tuesday when I got somebody to help me out, and then we go get the LSD put in. Take it to the shop. I have a guy that's going to put it in for me, and then we're going to be putting it back in. Once we get that installed, put the transmission back in after I modify the rear main seal because it's still leaking. So what I have to do with this stupid rear main seal, and honestly, I don't know whether it's my fault or whatever, it's still leaking. So what's got to happen is I got to take the spring out the backside, shorten it up, and put a little bit of RTV around the edge, put it back in there. Hopefully that'll be the last time I remove this transmission, at least for a while. I understand things break and I might have to pull it back out again, but hopefully it'll be many months or years down the road. So then wanted this motivation to get me to pull that transmission back up, because honestly, no. Do I really want to pull it back out? No. Who really does? But at least it's fairly easy to get it out of here. But it's got to be done. And it's ready to drop. I'll get one of my buddies to come and help me pull it out, send it back to the shop, get the LSD put in, swap out the rear main, do the modification to it, put it back in with the tool, and hopefully that'll be the end of that for a long time. Other than that, man, I said the car runs fine. If I don't fix this issue, yeah, it won't run fine. But as of right now, it runs fine. Like, it makes a lot of power. But I can't go get it tuned if I'm leaking oil. I really want to get this thing done, but it's like it's been fighting me every step of the way. Every step of the way. It's always something, man. 2 steps forward and 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. That's the reason why it's been taking so long to get the tune done for it, because I really don't have much of a choice. I can't go to the tuner with pissing oil all over the place. And I've tried to replace this rear main at least This is 2 rear mains that are in it, and this is going to be the 3rd time it's got one in there, and it's leak just does not want to seal. The other thing was the month it took, or months, it took me to finally troubleshoot that why the hell it wouldn't accelerate. It wound up being something completely stupid. I kept wondering, why the heck is nothing showing wrong? Because there was nothing wrong. It was the launch control. I wound up missing the IFO due to the launch control, and I was going to nurse that thing over there. I was really desperate to get it up there, but I couldn't even get it to go above 5 miles an hour because the launch control was literally locking it down to 5 miles an hour, 10% throttle, and 4,000 RPMs. So of course I couldn't drive it. I finally figured it out the weekend after the IFO. I was kind of mad about it. It's like, well, realized how simple of an issue it really was. I was literally going to buy a Haltech ECU and rewire the entire car, thinking that I've tested everything. Everything's showing good. It's got correct voltage at the ECU. It's got correct voltage at the TPS sensor. Nothing is showing wrong. Car runs fine. But the second you got to try to take off with it, it just would not go. And I was like, seriously, it was like this. I'm like, that's like a limiter. That's like a damn limiter. And I'm like, what if it is? What if it's actually a limiter? Well, the only thing I can think of is the launch control. Turn the launch control. King car works fine. I'm like, okay. After, yeah, like that. A lot of, yeah, but when I finally figured out that's what it was. So, launch control is not staying on. If I want to go to the 2-step competition, I'll take my laptop with me so I can plug in the attachment cable, turn it on temporarily, and then turn it back off when we're done. Because I can get around to the launch control at 5 miles an hour. I really don't want to go for 5 miles an hour anyway. Might swap an ECU in later, might get that Haltech later, but as of right now, there's no need for me to do it. Car runs fine, and I really want to be able to just drive the car for now. I'll go get it tuned, we'll see what we can do with it, drive the car for time being, and finally get to enjoy it for once. I'm like, it's been basically sitting here under development for about 1.5 years straight. I really haven't been able to drive it and enjoy it like I want to because of these damn leaks. And nobody wants to drive a car that's leaking, and it's like, you have to understand, it was leaking bad. It's not safe to drive at all. So it had to be fixed. There's nothing that can be done. It has to be fixed. There's no living with this. So, well, with that being said, it's AZ3K GT, and I'm signing out. And I hope this is it, man. It's like, trust me, there's nobody here more frustrated with not being able to enjoy the car and tune it and stuff like that than me. And it's really a shame that the engine runs so good. It's smooth. Like, I'm pretty sure I know somebody up there saying, oh, it runs like shit, it's rattling. Yeah, there's something rattling in the car. I think I know what it is, but I'm not entirely sure. And it doesn't make it any better that the car's got that. I was like, anything that's rattling in there is going to sound like fucking chitty chitty bang bang in there. But I'm pretty sure if I were to take me a glass, like the Fujiwara glass, stick it on the dash, it might vibrate a little bit, but it wouldn't actually be that bad. It's really smooth, honestly. But it might be because the rearview mirror sitting in the passenger side, because the rearview mirror fell off, and I just haven't bothered to put it back on yet because I'm like more worried about mechanical stuff. It could be the fuel can that I use in there, the octanium that I use to mix up 100 octane gas at the gas station. Well, guess what? That's got to stay in the car. Other than that, I don't know. There's like literally nothing else in the car that could be causing that rattle. But I understand. I hear the rattle too. It doesn't seem to bother me that much because it's my own car, and I'm like, I can just block it out. I don't really care. But trust me, when I can hear it when I go to record, and you guys are like, oh man, what is rattling in there? I was like, I don't know, bro. Everything seems to be pretty cinched down in there, but there's a couple things there is kind of floating around. And until I'm more worried about driving the car for long distance, stuff like that, like, I'm not going to worry about it until the car is mechanically sound. Once the car is mechanically sound, we'll start looking up the statics and the rattles and stuff like that. But we've got to get the car mechanically sound first. And this leak, gotta be solved. Gotta be solved. Car's undrivable. Basically anything but around the block. It's got to be done. So this is the third attempt. Nobody's more frustrated for some reason with this not wanting to be solved than me. So that being said, peace out, guys. And